Hello.
Happy Thanksgiving, and Christmas is right around the corner. Happy holidays. I hope everyone's doing well. Did you enjoy Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Yeah? So today's message that I prepared, let's talk about love. It's really more like, let's talk about relationships, but it didn't have the same sort of catchiness so I changed it to love. So I'll talk a little bit about my personal experience, and I put it into a little bit of a package. The theory of warm and cold water. Who here has heard of the theory of warm and cold water? Minyoung, you've heard of it? Yeah, I'd be shocked if you've heard of it because I made it up. But it's basically just yeah. Who raised your hands? We've got a number of posers. But basically, what I try to do here is just put it into a package that's more accessible to you, maybe a little bit fun. So please join on this journey together with me. A little bit nervous. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna. Can I step away from the microphone so I can see? Okay. So let's just go back to basics. Oh, thank you. Oh yeah. So I was freaking out. How am I gonna? Yeah, this is much better. Thank you. Okay, so just to kind of get us into what we're trying to talk about, we are alive, but what's my purpose? Why are we here? I think you've all thought about this before, especially those older who studied divine principle from many years ago. First, what do we need? So I was thinking back on my days in grade school, and the teachers would tell us, you need 3 things to survive. Does anyone know what they are? Yes?
Air.
Okay, air, that's a good one, but that's not what we're looking for. Try again. Food, water, and shelter, correct. I was looking for one, but you got all 3. And actually, in the recent kind of society, in education, there's one more that they view as essential. Does anyone know what that is? We're getting there.
Knowledge.
Knowledge, yes. Via the information highway
Technology.
that we call the internet. Yes, technology, the internet. So a lot of places now cite access to the internet as essential to modern life. So yeah, it's a cute little. Thanks to my initiation to AI now, a good friend of mine from high school does technology, and he said, you should use Nano Banana. And I said, oh, that's really interesting. What's that? Apparently, it's a graphic AI created by Google. So does everyone know this? You know this? Nano Banana? No? Okay. But apparently, it's out there now, so you can just type in, hey, make me a cute little graphic for the internet, and it'll pop up as such. So apparently that's what Google thinks the internet looks like. All right, let's keep going. So that's great and all to have food, shelter, and water and information at your fingertips, but what more do we really need to survive or to live a happy life? Yes, that's exactly what we're looking for. So there's a lot of ways you could answer that, right? You need your gadgets, you need your car to get around, you need your house, everything. But what we're looking at today, from the title, we're looking at relationships, and good ones, right? We can't just be sort of connected on the surface. We need to go deeper in order for them to be good, right? Maybe even a little bit of love. That would be fantastic if we could also enjoy love. So this is the backdrop. We're going to be talking about relationships. So I think I'm missing a slide. Just one moment, please. Well, okay. We're talking about the divine principle. So who could tell me what is the first sentence in the divine principle?
Everyone is struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune.
Everyone is struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune. So when I first learned about this as a child, it sort of stayed with me until adulthood as the sort of the entryway. This is what the divine principle is trying to get you to. It's trying to get you to attain happiness and avoid misfortune. Be happy, not unhappy. And so that stayed with me, and I was like, okay, so this is what we're about. And so there's a lot of explanation about history and what we're all about. But in the beginning, at the very beginning, the introduction was about happiness and how we attain it. So let's get into that. Next, the passing joys of those who delight in the pleasures of the flesh are nothing compared to the bliss experienced by those on the path of enlightenment. So we're trying to get happy once again through our understanding of the world through the divine principle. Part 1, Section 3, had Adam and Eve obeyed this divine mandate and built the kingdom of heaven, there is no doubt that God would have felt the greatest joy as his sons and daughters rejoiced in the world of his ideal. So not only are we trying to make our heavenly parent, our God, happy, but we are also meant to rejoice once the ideal is fulfilled. So through a few passages in the beginning, in the introduction, in section 1, or excuse me, in part 1, section 3, it's laying out the foundation that whatever you study, whatever you find through your prayer, through your worship, it's to attain happiness. And sometimes it's easy to look over that. It's easy to just try to get into the substance and forget what we're trying to attain. But let's get back to that. Get back to basics. Okay, so this is the slide that I was looking for. I got it mixed up. Sorry. So happiness comes from relationships. So we got my relationship with God. How do you feel about your relationship with God? So good?
It's complicated.
Not good?
Mine is complicated.
Somewhere in between? So I think everyone's answer to this is going to be different, but I think we're all facing the same direction. So Father teaches that our original mind is the source of our conscience, and the conscience is our guide that will always direct us to our heavenly parent. And that's our daily sort of struggle. That's what we try to do. So that's one type of relationship. But today, my relationship with others, that's kind of what I want to get into today. Not too deep, just maybe a little bit. So I've been listening to podcasts and different sort of experts in the field. Did you know that there is a study out there done by Harvard that tracked, I think it was several thousand people over the course of 30 years. And they were studying what is the common sort of thread that makes people more happy. I'm not in the field, so I'm not an academic, so I couldn't word it with all the technical words. But what do you think it is that makes people happy in the long term across sort of that kind of spectrum of data?
Friendships.
Intimacy, that's good. Friendship, yeah. So if you broaden that out, it's all about the relationships. So if you have meaningful, fulfilling, strong relationships, whether it's community, family, friends, that usually means that you're going to be happy, according to the data. And another sort of set of experts that I was following this on podcast was the Grotmans. So so if you're working under the premise that relationships are key, they studied what makes couples happy. And so, we're going to talk about that a little bit, touch on what they found in my theory. So the question with the relationships, are they fulfilling or are they failing? So Father said, for all of these who are been in our movement for a long time, this is so basic and I apologize, but I'm just going to read them to you just as a refresher. All created beings are created for one another. I exist for you and you exist for me. There is no one as foolish as the selfish person who lives only for his or her own sake. To realize that we exist for the sake of others is the great achievement that changes our lives. Where did Father say that?
Peace message?
Correct. Peace-loving global citizen. So in his memoir, he's talking about, just the core, right? So what do we need to do in order to be right with our heavenly parent? And he was like, live for the sake of others. For God's sake, try to do stuff for other people, be kind. And that's kind of where I'm getting at. What did Mother say? True love is the only thing people really are seeking. It transforms every sadness and pain into joy. Our goal was to bring salvation to the world as a true church that would wipe away all of humanity's tears. And then in a letter to Hyojinim, our filial son, Hyojin, our good-hearted and wise Hyojin, I love you. I know you will become a filial son of heaven. And then Appa and Oma are always proud of you. Enter the theory of warm and cold water, which you're all very familiar with. Okay, what is warm and cold water? So obviously we're not talking about the literal water that you drink to sustain life. No, this is a metaphor. So in my theory, cold water is harsh. It is unpleasant. It's cold, hence the name, cold water. And by contrast, warm water that you would find in a hot spring or a geyser is warm. It relaxes you. It provides comfort. It is soothing. So what is this a metaphor of, perhaps?
A relationship.
Exactly, how we treat each other. So what happens if you pour cold water on a plant? This is not biology, it's just a metaphor. So it starts to wither and it might even die. Very sad. So what I'm trying to do here is illustrate not people necessarily, but if you treat them cold, harshly, with accusations or criticisms, that relationship will wither and die in this metaphor, in this theory. We're assuming it's correct. So it's not necessarily to say the person will, suffer. They might. They probably will. But it's not to say that they're, maybe they'll have mental health problems or they'll, not to say that a person will be harmed. Of course they will. But I'm trying to focus here on the relationship. So, tell you a little story. Years ago, there was a young man who was kind of up and coming in the trade world. He thought himself something of a big shot. And so one trading company grossing billions of dollars offered him a lot of money to go sell steel. And he thought he could do that. Unfortunately, what he found was all of his past experience in other fields did not translate to steel. Steel was a unique commodity. The people handling steel were a lot tougher than what he'd seen before. And over time, he felt a little isolated. And the people around him didn't really care for the fact that he thought himself a bit of a big shot, but he couldn't really produce results. So after a while, he kind of became isolated in his team, and he had to take some time off and eventually left the company. Very sad story. And so I guess in that situation, the relationship were coming from his colleagues, his team, and also the people that he reported to, the managers and the executives. So all of them kind of didn't really treat him very well, and he was kind of in a bad way, and so he had to leave the company. Very sad. So let's go to warm water, huh? Okay, how about warm water? So what do I mean by warm water? So we have like words of affirmation, acts of kindness, love as a verb. Like how do you convey love as a verb? Maybe you say I love you, maybe you say I'm proud of you, that sort of thing, right? Or even in some cases just hello. Hello, how are you? That sort of thing. Even that is, in my theory, warm water. So this is a cup, perhaps a cup of tea, which you'll see. Suddenly he's happy. Keep going, yes. And so in this scenario, you feel a lot of warmth because, and Nano Banana really knows its stuff. And so Gemini has portrayed for me the warmth in a relationship. But I'm not just trying to say be nice to people, that'll make it everything better. More, the relationships need to be cared for, like a living thing. And so, yeah, that was very important to the young man Big Shot. And the young man Big Shot, after he left the company that's dealt with steel, he found some really interesting people who manufactured rubber. And so because it's hypothetical, of course. And then one of the higher ups in this company that made rubber said, "Sure, come work for me, and we'll see what you can do." And so instead of the kind of harsh environment where they didn't really appreciate him or give him any sort of appreciation or value his efforts, it was exactly the opposite. Even just showing up for work. Wow, I'm glad you're here. Let's go. Let's go meet some customers. Let's do a presentation. Let's sell some rubber. And so over time, the young man became healthy again, and his relationships with all of his customers and suppliers and his team especially really sort of bloomed. And so the relationships became very, very good. Yeah. So I was debating whether to tell you guys all that because it was a difficult time. And at one point, we had to debate what we were going to do because if you quit your job and you're on visa, you got to leave within a certain amount of time. So we actually left the United States for a while. And that was a little bit scary because we didn't know if we could ever come back. We put all our stuff in storage. Yeah, it was the whole thing. But anyway, we came back, and the folks in the rubber company were really good to me. So from that point, it was like just really positive, strong, and building back the relationships, but also my career. So there you have it. Yeah. So I guess my conclusion here is my my Gemini monkey, created by Nana Banana. So this is really, can I talk about the picture a little bit? So it's really, I was shocked. So I just said, Nana Banana, please create for me an image of the Japanese monkey in the wintertime in a hot spring. And he did it. And it was almost perfect. I said, no, Nana Banana, I want him to be like really satisfied looking and leaning against the rock almost. And just kind of in pure satisfaction. And they did it. It was amazing.
So that's hot water.
That is hot water, yes, warm water. So it's not to say that I need you all to go and take a vacation in a hot spring, but just if we care for our relationships with the positive feedback and giving them warm water, so to speak, then our relationships can thrive. So for example, if you for many years have an estranged sibling or even your spouse or whoever it may be, and you take the time to see what it is that made that relationship difficult. If you'd hurt them, I'd hurt someone in my family, and I sort of took the time to apologize, and it would have been many years that this relationship had been estranged. But I think now, after I've done that and received a response that was positive to that apology, I think we're on our way to the relationship being where our monkey's at in this picture. So if I could do it, then so can you. So I really hope that with the holiday season upon us, we could kind of, share in warm water and have a happy sort of holiday season and New Year's. So thank you all, and that's my message.